All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to jump in here at B&B Wealth Academy on analyzing a deal using our STR calculator. It's going to be way more in depth than some of the other stuff we've done, where it's just a basic, three-bedroom single-family home. On this example, I want to take down a multifamily. This is going to be a four-unit, two-bedroom on each unit. This is going to be a beach property. This is going to be in a floodplain. It's going to have a pool. It's going to be using a commercial loan, and it's going to have additional income. So you'll have like laundry and vending machine income. And two of the units we're going to long term, two of the units we're going to short term. So we're going to break this deal down and look how you would actually analyze this in our analogy here. So we'll call this 1, 2, 3 Oceanside as we dig in. Purchase price on this thing, we're going to call 750 grand. Market value after improvements. This is obviously, if you go in there and you improve the property, maybe you add some things to the property, what's it going to be worth when you're done? This is probably conservative, right, at 850. And because we're getting a commercial loan on this deal, let's say we're going to bring in $60,000. This is basically enough to, furnish our two units that we're going to convert to short term. We're going to spruce up the outside a little bit landscape wise, put in some amenities, and do some interior improvements. Closing costs, we'll call that $12,000. Obviously, this is very specific to where you live in the country. For bedrooms per unit, as mentioned, we're going to do a 2-bedroom, 1 bath on every unit. This is obviously relating to the short-term rental. For number of units, multifamily. Now, in our calculator, you want to put 2 here because, again, 2 of them are long-term rental, 2 of them are short-term rental. So this number 2 here is for the 2 short-term because it's going to reflect when we get into occupancy rate and average daily rate. So the revenue that you're generating for the short-term is multiplied by what you input on this line item. Now, if this was a duplex, then this would be 2, right? Or if you rented all 4 short-term rental units in the building, then you would put a 4. But since 2 of them are going to be long-term, we're going to have additional long-term monthly rent. For down payment on a commercial loan, typically you're going to find that's around 25%. For interest rate, I'm going to plug in 7.5%. And then for loan term, as a reminder, we want to use months here, not years. So if it's a 20-year loan, it would be 240 months. So there's your principal and interest payment. For property taxes, I'm just going to ballpark this and let's just call it $6,000 a year. For insurance, again, this is very variable. You'll probably want to get a quote before you plug in this number, but if you just want to ballpark it, I would probably say, most multifamily, depending on what kind of policy you get, we'll just call it $300 a month. And like I said, this is going to be an ocean property, right? I don't know if it's necessarily oceanfront or not, but let's just say you need flood insurance, right? So let's just plug in $500 a month. For maintenance, let's say your property is 30 years old and you fixed up some of it, but you probably want to budget around $200 a month in fix up for repairs. And then for CapEx expenditures, I would say, again, you probably want to set aside $200 a month. That'd give you $2,400 a year to set aside for that new roof or that HVAC or whatever you have going on. There's no HOA fees. For toiletry, linens, consumables, for two bedroom that are 2 units in the building, figure around $60 to $80 per unit. So let's just call this $160 a month. For cable internet streaming, I would just say that you can get one internet provider and just beam it across to all units. So that should be a flat fee for just the same as one unit. For gas propane, I'm going to leave this blank for having main gas on a property. You don't see a lot of properties at the beach with gas. However, let's say you do have a gas grill for a propane tank. So maybe you have, $30 a month to fill that up. Maybe your cleaner takes care of that for you. For electricity, this is obviously going to be your biggest expense, especially at a place like the beach in the summertime. So let's just call this, this is property with a pool, by the way. We're going to say $300 a month. That might be low. It depends on, again, what the cost is of electricity in whatever city or state you're in. For water sewer, I would usually budget around $50 to $60 a month for a 2-bedroom. It could be higher depending on how much your occupancy is. And then, of course, you got the cost of filling up your pool if it doesn't rain very often. Let's just call this $180 a month. For landscaping, you're not going to have anything tremendous if you've got a pool and a backyard on a 4-unit, but you probably want to put something in here, maybe $175 a month, just for a groundskeeper. For cleaning, again, as mentioned in other tutorials, I'm going to leave this blank. And the reason I do that is because oftentimes your cleaning fee that you charge your guest is going to offset your true cost of cleaning. It's not always the case. If you charge $150 for your cleaning and you charge your guest $150, then it cancels each other out. So you just have to make sure that you don't put that in your income for the cleaning fee. Now, if you are including it in the income, then you want to stick a line item in for your monthly cleaning fee, if that makes sense. And then, of course, if your cleaning fee is $150 a month and you're able to charge your guest $180 a month, they would actually add $30 per clean per month to your income. So you just need to figure out, where that's going to fall. If you're not sure and you haven't got quotes yet, just leave it blank and just make sure you back out any cleaning fees from the income. For software and subscriptions, I would probably put here maybe $50 a month. Again, this is your property management software, any camera subscriptions that you have on the property, any cost of the digital locks that you've got on your doors. Occupancy tax, obviously this is going to vary by city and state. I'd probably just type in a flat 5% here, maybe 5% there. But this is easily found online, right? So Google whatever town, city you're in, find out what that occupancy tax is and your sales tax. Now, if you're going through Airbnb, they will usually remit this on your behalf. So you have to also be paying attention as a host if you need to do this every month and actually pay out manually to the municipalities. For management rate, I'm going to just say plug in at least 15%, even if you're going to manage yourself. If you're eventually going to hire a property manager, it'd be nice to know that it's already baked into your numbers and you're still profitable before you buy the property, right? So I'm going to type in 15% here. If you know you're going to have a property manager and they're going to be 20 or 25%, plug that in. The market is typically between 15 and 25%, could even be higher. And then again here, you can edit these fields for additional expenses. As mentioned, we have a pool. So I'm just going to put pool maintenance right here. So I've only got one pool on one of my properties. I don't know exactly what that cost is, but I'm just going to budget, let's say $250 a month for that pool. And you can add anything else you have here, right? You can have additional expenses for whatever it is, and you can customize this in these additional fields. So your total monthly expense right now is $78.58. For your income, this is a beach property, and it's probably not going to be as high as you would hope it to be year round, right? Because the beaches are very seasonal. Now, if this is down in Florida or somewhere else that you actually can weather the off season pretty well with occupancy, then you can modify this. But for our sake of example, I'm going to just say this is 63% occupancy. And for average daily rate, you're going to probably crush it in the summertime. You're probably going to do okay in the shoulder seasons, and you're probably going to be sucking wind in the winter, right? So I would just say that for your average daily rate, maybe, for our example, we're just going to plug in 285. You may find that it's actually quite higher, or it could be less than that, but it's important to make sure you get these numbers right. For other income, as I mentioned, we're going to have a laundry facility and some vending machines on the property. Again, this is a 4-unit property where 2 are long-term, 2 are short-term. It can make sense to have some other source of income, right? Whether it's arcade machines or whatever, it's just nice to have. So I'm going to say we make $120 a month from that. And then additional long-term monthly rent. Of the 2 long-term rental units, let's just say we make $1,500 a month. So that would be $3,000 right here for additional long-term rent for those other 2 long-term rental units. So you can see right here, our numbers come out at, it's a 24% cash on cash return. So this would be a screaming deal right now. I think one of the things that is affecting this the most is you're getting a higher occupancy and ADR for the beach. you got this extra long-term income, and you're buying this property at 750. Now, is that realistic? Actually, it can be in some of these beach markets because there's a lot of old school multifamily along the beach markets that was built in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And sometimes they just got held as long-term rentals. They got run down, but they're within, beach proximity to oceanfront. They can be a great deal to scoop up and try to renovate. Now, you might have to put more than 60 grand into it if you got to get it going, or maybe doesn't have a pool. But you can find these old bed and breakfasts too that are even 10 unit or 15 unit or larger properties that you can jump on. So, but this just breaks down the numbers. Cash out of pocket in total, 199 is going to be your 25% down, your closing costs, and your 60 grand. Actually, I'm sorry, that's not right. Your 60 grand is from the bank. So let's say they're funding you either 100% or 80% of your fix-up cost. So the remainder cash out of pocket is going to be the down payment, basically, in the closing cost. Your total monthly rev is 5446. Gross rev in total, 14,000. Gross revenue annually would put you at 168. Your debt service is going to be annually at 58,727. And then your annual operating expenses are 60,802. Just so you understand what that is not including your debt service. That is just the expenses to operate the property minus debt service. Your net monthly profit would spit out 4,051 a month, which annualized is 48,621 a year. And then your net operating income is what would this property generate if you paid cash for it at 750? Okay, that's how you're arriving at what this is going to be. And then also your DSCR, which is your debt service coverage ratio. This is the number that banks care about the most. If you're getting a commercial loan, especially, is 1.83. This just basically shows you how much money you have left over in your revenue after you pay your debt service. Banks usually want 1.2 or 1.25. So this is obviously a very healthy number. When it comes to short-term rentals, you want this to be at least 1.4 or 1.5. If it's multifamily, sure, 1.2 or 1.25 is fine. But because short-term rentals fluctuate so much, I would definitely recommend you shoot for a higher number here on the whole. And then, of course, like I said, your cash on cash is at 24%. This is actually really strong, obviously, if you're already paying 15% in management. If you were paying, higher than that, this is going to go down, of course. But, if you can still get management on a property and make, I would say, mid-teens on your cash on cash, it's a good deal. But yeah, firm up your numbers, of course. But hopefully this analysis helps. You can see we put in little comments right here. Once it gets into certain cash on cash return, it's going to kind of give you some direction of whether that's a good deal or not, because you're looking for higher margins on short-term rentals. But this is a great example too. Like if you guys have a multifamily and maybe you just want to rent out one unit to see how you do, you can try it, right? You've got your upfront cost of furnishings, but hopefully this helps. And I'll be putting out more videos for this. Again, guys, check us out, bnbwealthacademy.com, completely free to use the calculator, and hope to see you on there. See you on the next one.